What's going on, Sumolings? Thank you so much for joining us for another product walkthrough webinar. I am Lindsay, and I am joined by the team over at Spott. Spott allows you to create interactive content, publish it to different channels, and track its success along the way. It's available on AppSumo right now, starting at just $59 for a lifetime deal. But before we dive into the webinar, I just want to tell you a few quick things. The first is that if you want to tell us a little bit about your use case, if you want to tell us a little bit about why you're interested in Spott, we love to hear those kind of things over in the chat room. You can also tell us where you're joining us from. I personally love that. And if you have any questions about the tool, go ahead and leave those questions down below in the Q&A box. We do have somebody from the Spott team answering those questions, but we will also circle back to questions at the end of the walkthrough. And then the hello in New York. I hope New York is going well. Hello, Toronto. And yeah, if you want to watch this again, you can, because there's a replay. Also, if you need to step out, you can watch this again. And if you are watching the replay, hello to the future. I hope things are well. Hello, Atlanta. Hello, St. Louis. We got people from all over. How are you doing, Michelle? I'm glad that you joined us today.
Thanks, Lindsay. Thanks for the invitation. Looking forward to present Spott, and very curious to see which kind of questions we get in. So
wonderful.
Ready to
yeah,
go.
I love this tool. I'm excited for y'all. I'm gonna let you take it away. Sumolings, go ahead and put your questions in the Q&A box. Go ahead and chat it up in the chat room, and I will check in with y'all for the Q&A. I will see you soon.
All right. Thank you, Lindsay. So hello, everybody. My name is Michelle. I'm one of the founders of Spott. I'm just doing the most difficult thingy here in screen share our presentation. That seems to be working well. So basically, the idea of our presentation today is not only to deep dive into the product and into the details of the product, but also give you guys a little bit of framework on which kind of problems we hope to solve in the market that we are in. So when looking at today's agenda, first it's the market and the challenges, then how we believe that we can solve or we give an answer to those challenges. Then we go through some examples, practical examples, and some use cases. Then we dive deep into the product. I hope that those 4 bullets take us about 20 minutes to make sure that we have enough time for any Q&A or any questions that you guys would have. So first, the market challenges. So the market we're in is digital marketing, of course, and looking at how that market is evolving, we could place it in 3 different buckets, if I may say so. First one is, as an advertiser, it becomes much more difficult to reach your audience for the very simple reason that we, as a consumer, we're all over the place. We're on a gazillion different sorts of channels who have all different rules for advertisers, so it becomes not easy or even very complex to really make sure that you can reach your audience. Second part of that equation is that because we see so much content on so many channels, our attention span became less than that of goldfish. So it becomes a major challenge that even you achieve to reach your audience, you have to make sure that you trigger them fast enough and intensively enough to make sure that they're interested. So that's the first big challenge that you have, right? Second one is when you're in luck to have created amazing content and to place it on a channel that you're able to reach your audience, you have to make sure that you allow people to do something with that inspiration, right? So if you have an audience that really loves your content and they really want to do something, try to avoid the magical word that is called awareness and allow an optimal conversion. Allow us as a user to do something to convert on or act on that inspiration. So that's the second point. And that's an important one because mostly what we see, and that's where we as Spott focus on, is that last step, the optimal conversion, is still not getting enough attention until we came along, hopefully. A third one is because you have so many channels and you have so many ways and so many different sorts of content to reach your audience, it becomes very, very, very difficult to try to understand where to put your focus on, right? So it becomes difficult even if you measure everything. Mostly it's apples and oranges that you have to compare. So it becomes very difficult to optimize. So the challenge there is to understand that you can't be present on every channel as you want, and that you have to choose which channels that you want to be very active on. So that's a sort of trade-off that you have to generate, basically normally on data that you have available, and the principle of availability there is the major issue. So what do you need to do? Well, First, you have to make sure that when somebody is inspired, that you allow immediate conversion. Secondly, you have to make sure that you can publish your content on as many channels as you can, as efficient as you can, so that your cost base or your marketing budget doesn't explode. And third one is that you have to be able to set yourself up for success, so that you understand the return on investment of each and every campaign that you do, so that you learn and that you can take those best practices back to the next campaign, and that you come in sort of circle of you learn something, you improve your campaign, better results, you learn something, improve, better campaign and results. So that's basically the rules that, you know, everybody of us understands very well. So then you come up to what we call our unique selling proposition. So what do we do there? How do we as Spott give you guys a solution for those different sorts of problems? So basically, if you translate that in unique selling proposition, is that we're a marketing tool or a SaaS marketing tool that allows our users to generate much more value out of their published content by not only making it interactive, but also measurable. And that not only on one channel, for instance, your website, but on different channels, on Google Display, on different sorts of social media, on third-party publishing websites, if you're in affiliate business. So pretty much all over the place. And that's our strategy, to be, or to make sure that you can be omnipresent with interactive content, so that you can start measuring and learning and optimizing. So that's our unique selling proposition as Spott. When you translate that in normal English or very practical stuff, it's a simple equation. And the first one is that when you generate the perfect inspirational content for your audience and you put that on a channel where you can reach that audience, the most important point that you have to do is the third part, that, you know, to have the best and most optimal user experience, you have to allow people to act on an inspiration and convert seamlessly. So that's good for the user, right? And when you do that, it's also good for you, because of the interactivity, you go deep enough in the funnel to generate practical and real and tangible return on investment. So that last step that is good for the user, that seamless conversion, by making it interactive, you allow yourself to set up different sorts of different definitions of what you perceive as being a value. It can be follow us on Instagram, it can be couponing, it can be sampling, it can be lead generation, it can be gamification, it can be actual purchases. So you allow yourself to set up the flexibility that, depending on the nature of your content and the channel where you put that content on and the audience that you talk to, that you can start playing around with which kind of value you want to really get out of that content. And again, measure it, learn it, and optimize it in the near future. And then you come on to this, just explain that to you guys. So basically the logic that you want to have is that you go deep enough. For instance, that one, for instance, for television, people love the Big Bang Theory because they're between 15 and 32 and blah, blah, blah. No, we're going to want to go much deeper, and based on interaction, understand what are the parts and the things that you really love about the Big Bang Theory, and learn from that and optimize from that. And that's a simple example here with Big Bang Theory. Basically, it has to do with every sorts of interactivity, whether it's branded content, whether it's even displays or videos or whatever. This is the level of data and granular data that you really want to have. So basically, this is a screenshot of our dashboard that we're continuously improving. So it's not just a dashboard, it's a BI solution. So you can click on every media or every asset to really understand, okay, for instance, on that car, from where does that traffic come from? Is it from Facebook? Is it from a Pinterest post that I made? Is it from that specific website that is an affiliate to us? So that you can learn and go deep enough and improve. When we go practical, some examples on interactivity. This is one that we did for Benetton. So Benetton, Italian fashion brand. And the practical problem that they had is there were weeks of difference between the momentum that they launched their new fashion campaign, if I may say so, on the catwalk, and when the clothing or the garments came into their physical stores. So the problem that they have is they invested a lot in that fashion show to get a lot of buzz and a lot of traffic and a lot of noise about all the new clothing items, but they didn't have any way to convert that immediately into sales or almost sales, or even into leads, because it took weeks before all those clothes came into the physical shops of Benetton. So what did we do? We made those fashion shows of Benetton interactive, and you could select, the skirt or the shoes or whatever you prefer in that video, and you could drop your email address in the content itself and submit and saying, okay, let me know by email when that product is in the store in my neighborhood. So that they had immediately lead generation and almost a sale of products that are not yet in the store. So that's one practical example. Second one is cooking shows. We've done a lot of those in our history. Interesting thing with cooking shows is it's not just about the ingredients that the chef is using for the dish that he prepares. It's also about everything he uses in the pots, the pans, the knives, the oil, whatever. Most of those things are non-branded. So people want to know, for instance, I took Jamie Oliver here. What kind of knife is Jamie Oliver using, and where can I purchase that? Or the pots or the pans. So this one is super easy. You click on it, you can purchase it, and it's a done deal. To give you a very extreme example, we've done the best cooking show or most viewed cooking show in Belgium, and the items that people clicked the most on was the clothing that the chef was wearing. Strangely enough. And the second one were the simple pots and pans that his assistant was buying in the shop next door, not even product placed. So it opened a lot of opportunities to generate much more value out of a simple cooking show. Another example is for IKEA. So when you've got influencers who are talking about the new IKEA outfits and ensemble and products that are available, interesting thing what we've done there is that you can do sort of in content baskets. So maybe I'll show the next one. It's easier to see. So if you're watching a video or you're looking at a picture and you have the basket functionality on your own website, you can allow people to shop through your content. So if somebody is watching your video and they click, for instance, here on the lamp, it gets automatically sent to the basket. So you have much less clicks and you have much more purchases. I will give some statistics on that later on. So that's another way you can use interactivity. This one was for a football team in Brazil. So they used, or should I say, YouTube videos on their own website, where the pre-rolls were, of course, from YouTube themselves. So what they've been doing is replacing the YouTube player by another video player and using those pre-rolls made interactive of their own sponsors. So for instance, Fiat and Le Coq Sportif were major sponsors of that team. And they then offered those pre-rolls as an extra visibility towards their sponsors, made it interactive to allow them to create some lead generation from the content of the football team themselves. So that's how they are using it. Another way was also to get, this was pre-COVID, of course, to purchase tickets. So what they had is, apparently in Brazil, you have some top teams, but most of the teams are from lower end. So against the teams that are lower in the classification, it's very difficult to fill the stadium. So depending on how close the next game is, they push bigger discounts on purchasing the tickets. So that's one example. Another example is, you see there the G or the Gallo coin. So they use it for loyalty reasons. So with the Gallo coin, you can purchase merchandising, or you can do a meet and greet with a certain player. So they hid it as a sort of Easter egg in their content. So the more content you look, the more, or the bigger the chance that you will find Gallo coins, and the more chance, that you can get some merch, or that you can talk or give a handshake to your favorite player and stuff like that. So that's another example. Here also the in content basket functionality, where the product is immediately added to their basket. Less clicks, higher conversion. This one was a demo that was done specifically for Tommy Hilfiger. This was an artist that is being product placed by Tommy Hilfiger. Also there, you add the basket. The interesting thing is here, what they wanted to add was a principle that you could see his music videos. So There we added in an iframe the music video, so that above the main video you have the other video of on YouTube of that specific artist. You click it away and automatically the video continues. So another example. This one we like a lot because it works very well and everybody gets it from an added value perspective. So this is an example for automotive on ads, where the principle is normally that you have those most amazing videos of cars that are very shiny and driving very, very fast with great music, amazing rims and stuff like that. By making it interactive, what you'll get is that you know which kind of dealer is closest to you, you know which kind of rims the car has, you know all the you can click on the specifics of the car, so you can, as an advertiser, you can put much more information in one ad, and depending on the interest of the user, you'll know exactly what to show. So the trigger is always with the user, but you can push a lot more information in there, and of course the lead generation. Another example is Google Display Network. So we integrated with GDN. So the principle of Google Display is that it has a reach of about 95% of the internet. So I think they're on a bit more than 3 million publishing websites. So that's the good thing of GDN. The less good thing of GDN is they're basically awareness driven. So it's an awareness tool. What we try to do together with Google is that you can make your displays interactive. You can put multiple inspiration points and much more information behind your display, and you can make it more alive. So because, for instance, the pulsating element, it captures faster the eye, people can see much more information again on the display, so the click rates will be higher. So I added some results below. So you had 170% difference of engagement rates in the same display made interactive. Cost per click went down with 52%, which all makes sense because it's basically, you make it more alive, you put more information in it, so chances are much bigger that people are going to click on it. One very important disclaimer there. There's one thing that is a limitation set by Google that we can't pass, is you can only put one URL behind it. So that's a limitation set by GDN. So that's something that we can't alter. But if you would love to have multiple URLs, you have to think about DV360 solution that we're going to put live very fast. So there are no limitations up to customization. You can put multiple inspirational dots with different sorts of URLs behind it. So that is for within 3 weeks. Voila. Almost there. This is an example of Facebook. So when you link your Facebook account to your Spott account and you make a picture interactive, you can push it to Facebook as a carousel, where you will have that picture made interactive as a first main poster, and everything that has been tagged in that will follow that picture in the carousel. Another way how you can use Facebook is when you make a picture or a video interactive on Spott, you have the possibility to generate a unique URL that you can put behind the call to action on a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad or a shop now button of Facebook. So these are ways how we can put interactive content today on Facebook. Do know that we're continuously working on Facebook and Instagram to see how far we can push it. And we're currently also talking with Facebook on installing a next feature. Talking about Instagram, today you've got Instagram stories. So when you've got 10,000 followers or more, you've got the possibility to swipe up. And what you can do there is put that same URL there. So from a user experience perspective, what you do when swiping up is just pulling that interactive layer above that inspirational content, and you see everything that that the advertiser or the influencer wants you to see on that specific content. So suddenly that content becomes much more richer. So that's about it on examples. I just wanted to share 2 cases. These are available on our website. We can send that to you guys, so don't worry about it. So the first one, Color Shop, is an online retailer. What they did is they did A/B testing. So they took a page, and half of the audience that visited that page was seeing nothing, and half of the audience that saw that page saw the interactive or the Spott version of that page. The results and it's them that measured it, not us. The results were that based on the questionnaire that people like much more that the content has been made interactive, because you give more that sort of magazine feeling or that inspirational feeling compared to, you know, a very functional e-commerce platform. The interesting thing is what we saw by allowing people to shop through the video is that the average order value went up. So the average order value went up by 19%. And when you think about it, it's logic. If you push much more inspirational content to your audience, so instead of just a pair of shoes or a skirt, you show the ensemble, or instead of just you know, a chair, you show the living room completely decorated. By just giving people the full inspirational picture, people, and you make it interactive and actionable, people are much more enticed to purchase more, hence the plus 19%. And also the 20% increase in orders. So it's what you also saw is that people just did more purchases, so first purchases, so more people buying. So that was on the e-commerce side. The other one is Sapo. So that's a publisher. It's the pretty much biggest publisher in Portugal, and they have a big audience in Brazil also. So basically how they use the interactivity is as a basic functionality where they push the content to their viewers. So making sure that, you know, the value perception of the content is much higher. So instead of just showing a video of a very nice looking bay where you can, you know, go to on travel, they make it interactive, and they say, well, here's the map, there it is, that's the name of the hotel, that's the name of the beach. Per accident, Top Airlines is flying over there and stuff like that. So they use the enrichment to give much more information and a better experience to the reader, but at that same time also to earn much more money, because pretty much it's branded content. We've done a case together with them, with Sapo, and that was for El Corte Inglés, which is a fashion brand and fashion retailer, and they did branded content. So the principle of showing people new ensembles on video made interactive. What you saw is that in a very short time frame, they were able to send much more than 60,000 visitors to the website of El Corte Inglés with a very low bounce rate. And the thing that surprised everyone the most, also us, was the duration. So people spent more than 3 minutes on the advertiser site, on the site of El Corte Inglés, again, where they also saw the interactivity there, to purchase. So what you there saw was, you know, the stickiness of the content because of the interactivity, hence leading to bigger sales. So this is a little bit of theory, a little bit of framework and background about who we are and what we're doing. What I now want to do is, if that's okay for you guys, guide you through the products. Just gonna see if I can close my PowerPoint and move my product here. Seconds. Okay, I can hope that you guys can see my screen now from the product. So basically, I want to welcome you to Spott. So we've got 4 big environments on the Spott ecosystem. The first one is the media. Second one, assets, styles, and reporting. The most easiest way to start making something interactive is not with the picture or the video, but with the things that you want to make or put in the interactivity. So that's what we call the assets. The assets are pretty much the products that you want to put into the videos or the pictures. So voilà. You've got 2 ways to produce an asset. The most easiest one, if available, is an asset feed. So what do I mean with an asset feed? If you have your products stored somewhere where you change the pictures sometimes, or the availability of a certain product, or you change the price, that it automatically gets pushed towards Spott so that you're always showing the right information. So it works very simple. I'm just gonna edit this one, gonna copy paste it to do a new one. So pretty much this is how you connect that feed. You give it a name, voila. You put in your asset URL. This custom header is something that you can use if you want to put a sort of security on it. You guys, you're on our, as AppSumo links, you're on our biggest package or business package. That means that you can update or select and update your feed every hour. This is especially important for e-commerce. If you change your prices sometimes daily and multiple times a day, you really want to select an hour. And if you have a very, very, very big database, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 products, what you can do is you can put on the visual search. And what happens then is we'll index, so that's AI, we'll index every product in that database. So later on when you're using a product and a picture or a video, and you don't know the exact name of that product, that you can just ask the algorithm, go fetch proposals, what it could be from my own database, and then it presents you some examples, and that's an easy way to find it that way. So what happens then is when you click next, we're just going to ask you if this is what you want to see. So that's basically how we're going to read it as a system. And then the last step that you want to do is you just want to match one with the other. So you can say, okay, the idea, what you want to have is called product ID in my feed. The name is in product title. The URL is called link in my database. And if you want to fetch the image, what you do is you click on image link. Do you have multiple products in your product feed, pictures in your product feed? Not a problem. You just click add another image, and then you go, for instance, additional image link. You should know that we're from Belgium, being Spott, so we're born in multiple languages. So this is always also directly foreseen here. So if you have multiple feed in multiple languages, you can just select this one, say your default language or your other language. And what will happen is that based on certain parameters, but the most important one is the language browser, will push the right language to your user. So if you have a Spanish product feed and the browser is on Spanish, the viewer will see the Spanish offering of your product. So that's pretty much how it works. If I would click here on connect feed, then Bob's your uncle, everything is done, and you have your product feed live and kicking. The second one or second way that you can generate an asset is by just manually generating your asset. So it's a name, the product URL. So pretty much it's the URL of I should say the product detail page that you have live. You can drag and drop here an image, and then you can start adding fields. So what's the price, what's the brand, what's the description? If you want to add more fields, then you can just add more fields. So that's not a problem at all. There are no limitations on here. That's pretty much everything about assets. Then we go to first styles, then I'll jump into media. Styles is pretty much the most important part of the Spott ecosystem. So the nature of your content and what you want to do with it from a conversion perspective pretty much defines which kind of style that you want to use. Again, you guys, you've got a business package, so there are no limitations on the number of styles that you can generate or that you can customize or that you can use. So there are no limitations there. What we've done to set you guys already a little bit on track and to give it a little bit of inspiration is add some standardized styles of interactivity. For instance, if I would take Laura, here you get an overview of the different sorts of interactivity that you can put on your media. Do you want to have it like a button where you have the picture and here the information, or do you want to have it that way with an expanding card? Do you want to have a closet, for instance? I'm going to click this one, where you have it like on the side, not visible, only with here with a plus. When you click on it, the product, or it comes open and you see the products here. You can then test it out with different backgrounds just to make sure how the style looks. So this allows you to already understand what the basic or the standard applications are of interactivity. Mostly all of them are based on best practices, so do know that we'll be expanding those standardized style sets. So based on what you want to do, based on the nature of your content, based on your branding, you want to go for instance, if you do fashion or high-end fashion, Laura and Milan. If you have really young a young audience on fashion, you would go more in the direction of Spark. If you do something IT-like, or for guys or sporty, you would consider Night. So depending on that kind of parameters, you will have a preference for a standardized style. You can use it, you can adapt it, you can save it, you can customize it, so you can start playing around. And if you have any questions, we've got some specialists from our side who are really mastering this. So if you're really, if you would be a little bit lost in translation, we're just a chat away in our tool, and we can set you on track immediately. So now you've seen what you can put in content, how you can put in content. Let's now look actually how you're gonna do it. So here we come on media. Here you can upload or even bulk upload your pictures, your videos, or even displays for GDN. And for instance, let me take IKEA here. When you click on a video, what will happen is our tagger will open. And the tagger has some blocks. Here on the left side, you will have all your products, all your assets. If you click here, you will have all your widgets that are there. Do know that I'm here on our Spott test environment, so it loads a bit slower. So every style that you have active, you can choose from here. So, and 3 is when you go to suggestions, you can just drag and drop it here. You can start playing the video, voila, and then you can start enriching it. How you enrich it is very simple. You take a product, you drag and drop it, up, voila, and then you can start playing. So you can say, okay, I want to have it from that offset, from that second to that second. You can select your style in the visibility on how you want to let it show made interactive. And if you want to test it out, what you do is you click on preview, voila, and then you can just see how it looks like before you will publish it. Before you will publish it, you should always look here on the left side. So standardized, your video size will always be on responsive because we do mobile first development. But if you really want to choose to, for some reason, you can also take a fixed width. You've got behavior. Behavior is a small but unimportant detail. So we've standardized or set a standard on autoplay so that it's yes. So that when somebody visits your website, the video starts playing from the moment it becomes into the real estate. So when it becomes visible. That means that it's automatically muted because some browsers do not allow autoplay when the music is on or when the sound is on. So when you want to have it with the sound on, you have to push autoplay out, and then you can choose to put muted or non-muted. Then you have some appearance thingies. Again, you guys, your business, so what you can do is you can just say hi to Spott logo, and then you will not see made interactive by Spott when you select that. Voila, so that's gone. If you want to do tracked tags, what do we mean by that is when you press pause that you then only see the show the tags. If you want to have the tag counter on so that people see how many products are made interactive here. So that's a little bit of fine tuning that you can do with cards. So these are cards in this style. You can ask to expand them so that they're completely visible. If you put that out, what will happen is they're stacked. So that's, here you can play with how to make it visible. You have a closet, if you want to, that's what I showed you guys earlier when you click on the plus so that it folds out and you see the products there. Do also know that you can put a poster image on it. And here, non-important, where is it? Yeah, the data form. So what you can also do is when you select a style and you choose to say that it's a data form, what you can do is you can ask people to drop their email addresses, for instance, in the picture or in the video, so that you don't have to click first where a window opens, where you have to read it and then put your email. No. If you can put a call to action and the filling field immediately in the content itself, and every input that comes in is available on your Spott account. So every email address that you assemble will be available in your Spott account, and then you can publish. You've got a few ways to do it. So the first one is JavaScript embed, second one is iframe, or you can just work with a shared link. That's up to you. If it's the JavaScript embed or the iframe embed, it's just copying this one and you're live and you can go. For the rest, I think I've told you guys everything, maybe except this one. Yes. This is the last one that I wanted to put you guys some attention on. Is there are 3 actions that you can install when somebody clicks on a Spott. So the first one is the basic one. It's opening a URL, for instance, a product detail page. The second one is an iframe pop-up. So for instance, that when somebody clicks on the video and you don't want to push them out of your content, that when they click on the video, you don't have a new page, but the page is shown as an iframe, so that it doesn't fill up your complete window, and that people still stay in your video. Third one is the open form. So that's what I discussed about, filling in email addresses and do lead gen. The fourth one is trigger a JavaScript event. That's the one that you want to select if you want to do the in-content basket. So if you have a shopping basket on your own website, that's what you do. You trigger a JavaScript event, and then you link your event from your basket onto this event, so that both talk to each other and you can push those products into your shopping basket. So this is a drill through of our tagger. Some extra information that I wanted to share with you guys is reporting. I'm going to take this one. So what you saw in the PowerPoint presentation is the reporting dashboard that you have. This is one that we're working on. So this one is a little bit different. It's also a bit more detailed, but that's not the one that you guys are seeing, because this is still work in progress. So pretty much what you'll get here is your funnel, your metrics over time. You can change those, of course, from a data perspective. And then you get your drill down depending on the media and the assets, where you can just select certain media and then only the assets are shown of that media, or if you want to work the other way around. So if this product is in 20 medias, you get a selection of where that product is in. If you want to do a drill down, you can just analyze and go to asset detail, and then you get a drill down up to the product level. So that's what we really want to do for you guys, so that you can go as deep as you want to really understand the dynamic behind the reporting. Some last administrative points. So this is your profile and your settings. So here you've got your account. Here you can link your social channels. You can see which kind of subscription that you have and select it. The billing information, whether if you're a company and a private person, sorry. If you are a paying client, you will see your invoices here, so that those are always available. Here you've got the spend of your credits. So what we want to make sure is that you see where the credits are going through. So we want to make that as transparent as possible. So if you see that your counter of credits are going down, that you can actually see why, when, and how that happened. For you guys, you have your AppSumo codes that you can add here. You've got referral program. So just for information, we have a referral program that is live, where when we work with partners, so every Spott user can do that. You have your unique referral code here that you get 50% of every purchase that you refer, and you can track that progress here. Last one here on team, you can add all your team members or manage your team members here. So pretty much this gives you a very nice overview on settings. Maybe a last thing that I want to show you guys before we start the Q&A is our roadmap we're going through. So this is a public one, so you guys have all access to it. So how it works is very basic and very simple. So if you have ideas, please throw them in here. Look through them. If they're not already there, vote the ones that you love. Please be very, if I may ask it, be very active on it. The more that you guys vote, but the better that we understand what you prefer. If you want to have more information about our product strategy, you can find it here. So if you want to have some background information about the product and our product strategy. So once in a while, and that's twice a week, we look in here and we filter out those that we know are very interesting for existing clients, because one, you guys have voted on it, but secondly, we've got requests in the chat and from my active clients from the past. So these are the ones that we've identified as ideas, and ideas are the ones that we're wanting to scope, that we really want to look at, and if we can, that we want to integrate them. So it's an interactive widget for a test drive. It's the Swarmify integration. We have quite a lot of requests for that. It's the Spott pixel. So just like a Facebook pixel, that you can put a Spott pixel on your website, so that in the dashboard you can see the actual, not clicks, but also purchases, so that you see the end of your funnel. When you're loading up videos or pictures, or if you want to generate a GIF in our system, that you see the loading time. Is it 2 seconds, 20 seconds? Do you have time for a coffee, or is that not needed? So that you're not in the dark here. Compatibility with WooCommerce. So just like with Shopify today, you can use the embeds already. So you can use interactive content with WooCommerce and Shopify. But we really want to push that further, that it's really integrating functionalities. Same with WordPress and Elementor, so having generating and producing plugins there. Compatibility with open cards. This one is a very nice one, a very interesting one. So the principle that you can have multiple offerings or show multiple offerings for the same product. So that's one that we see as being very interesting. CNAME integration, so that's also a good one. To dig a little bit deeper in that. So when you produce a URL, that URL is a subdomain of our Spott domain, because we can't impact your website or your domain. Today we have already a way to, if you want to have that under your name or your domain, that we can do that. There was a very good proposal from one of the AppSumo links to say, okay, put or produce also this a CNAME solution, because that's also a very simple or direct way to get the same result. So we absolutely love that idea, and we're for sure going to do that. We just have to make sure that we can scope that in time to put it live. Another one was special for agencies, so that you can have credits or link credits onto different sorts of media. So if you have 3 interactive campaigns live and you have 90 credits, that you can say, okay, 50 credits to campaign 1, 20 credits to campaign 2, and 20 credits to campaign 3, so that you can allocate your credits to different sorts of campaigns and media. And the last one is branching. So the principle that when you're in a video, that you can interact with the video and go to or a later stage in the video, or open a new video. So that's branching. We can already do that, but not super straightforward, but that's perfectly possible today. So if you would be interested in that, you can contact us later through the chat. But there is a much better and a much more slick way to put that into the system. That's also one that we really want to do and really want to scope well. And when you look at scoped and planned, so these are the things that we are currently working on. So as I said earlier, DV360 interactive ads. So normally that should be ready on the 4th. The same with VAST and VPaid we're working on. So that's end of September. So the principle there is we've got some clients who are in OTT, over the top, so who do streaming, and they make their pre-rolls interactive. So there we're evolving into a next stage where we want to implement the VAST and VPaid structure, so that they can work with programmatic. And also we've taken up the challenge to add multiple social media accounts onto one Spott account. That was also very much a need and a request from quite a lot of AppSumo links. So also for agencies, if you're working on multiple social media accounts, that you can link that to the same account. So that's also one that we're working on for the moment. Things that are almost ready, so that's on the working on it column, are interactive catalogs. So it's the principle of uploading a PDF catalog, make it interactive, and publish it on your website. Our idea there is to bring it a bit to the next stage, so not just adding buttons on a digital PDF, but also allow you to ingest videos in between. So if you have a PDF of a retailer that has been uploaded, been made interactive, that you can play around still with pages, that you can add a video somewhere. So on the left side, you have the ingredients and pots and pans. On the right side, you have the cooking video of Jimmy Oliver, for instance. So that's one that we're working on. Then 2 widgets, so the subscribe to newsletter widget, discount widget, so that you can start playing around with prices that change, so that the minus 15% call to action, but also the strike through. And the last one is install different user roles. So today everyone is an administrator, so we want to make different sorts of roles there, so that you have a super admin, you have an admin, got the people who make the content interactive and publish it, and then you've got the client who's watching it. So these are the roles that we're preparing also to put live. That was also a request from a few of the AppSumo links. That's what we're doing now between, so scoped and planned and working on it. That's between now and end of September. Everything what's on ideas for the moment, that is for October. So just to give you guys a little bit of a heads up on how you have to read it. Again, don't hesitate to add extra ideas or to vote there. We follow product-led growth, so we believe that the big blocks of our product are done. So now we just want to listen and see how people use a product to learn better how we can mature a product further to be of a better assistance. So that's how it works. For the moment, I think I've said everything. So Lindsay, I think we're ready for questions.
Absolutely. And I will say all of the questions in the Q&A box have been answered.
Oh, wow.
Simulings, if you have, your team's great. Simulings, if you have any questions that you would like answered, you could definitely send those over now. Otherwise, we can keep this relatively short and sweet. That was a really great walkthrough, and a lot of questions that we usually get are going to be about roadmaps. So thank you for spending so much time on that. I'm just going to ask a couple, clarification questions, things like that have come in. So the first one is this compatible with Wix e-commerce?
Yes, it is. It's the same logic there as we had with WordPress with the embeds. So we already have clients who are using Wix and publishing interactive content on that. So if there would be any questions or information on how to put that live, don't just hesitate to ask it in the chat, and we'll send you guys on your way to put it live as fast as you can.
Thanks. All right, can you upload GIFs to use as spots?
That's a good question. I have to check, to be honest. I'm not sure. I don't know if my team said it, but I think we have to come back to you on that. For the very simple reason, we allow you to make GIFs out of interactive pictures. So it's a question that has not been asked yet. So if we know who asked it, we can send you guys the answer later on after the chat when we find out.
Yeah, I can probably find that person somewhere. Oh, no, I can't. They said it's an anonymous attendee.
Okay, but he can just drop his question into the chat, and we'll make sure that he gets an answer immediately on that one.
Great. All right. Tom wants to know, can you import from Camtasia or Snagit?
You can, as long as you have an online product feed. So it comes back to you have to put a product feed URL in there. If themselves they don't offer that, there is a simple way using a Google Drive doc to make sure that it works. Again, I think we had that question like 2 days ago from an AppSumo user that we put on the way. So it's absolutely possible. Yes.
Cool. All right. All right. What is there a max number of interactions per image/video?
Yes and no. It's a very difficult question. It depends on a few parameters. It depends on the nature of the content. It depends on the length, for instance. But what I can say is you should never put more than 3 spots on the same time on the same offset. So if somebody presses pause, for instance, you should never add more than 3. Okay. 3 is the most optimal one. Never do 5, ever. Never ever. That's not good for any. That's not good for any content. Do know again. It depends a bit on the nature of the content. For instance, if you have a very actionable, fashion, high energy video, it may be best to use a closet. So remember when you have the plus on the left side, when you click, it opens. That's the best solution, for instance, for that kind of content, because then you're not disrupting the content experience, and you leave it with the viewer to do that first interaction. So that's how you have to look at it.
All right. The next question. Okay, so this is a clarification question. Sorry, all of these have been answered, but I do want to make sure that the people watching us in the replay get some some of these answered. So the question has come up a couple times. What kind of video resolutions do you support? Is 4K okay?
Yes. Simple answer. That's okay.
Awesome. And we had a couple people asking specifically for that resolution. And then the last one, is there a maximum length of video that could be used?
Oh, good question. It depends on the channel. For instance, for over the top, to name the extreme, shows longer than 25 minutes don't make any sense. So forget about making James Bond interactive, for instance. It doesn't make any sense to do so. Cooking shows, fashion shows, The Voice, travel shows, all those formats about 25, 30 minutes kind of thing. Those are the max. When you're talking about Instagram, of course, you're at what, 10 seconds, kind of 15 seconds kind of logic. So again, the length depends on the channel, but it all points itself out there. So the channel is more important than the interactivity. Cool.
All right. There, again, nothing else here in the Q&A. A couple good questions and answers that we did get. The bullet sizes. Oh, sorry. The bullet sizes can be customized. The size of the dots can be customized so that they're more visible. Concerning IG stories, you mean the swipe up is something that people will actually see only if they swipe up, therefore reducing the chance of accidental clicking?
Yes,
yes,
indeed.
That is correct.
And maybe on the buttons, because I didn't spend too much time on that, maybe too little time, if I may. Everything is customizable. So you can change the color of the buttons, you can change the size of the buttons, you can upload icons where you just don't use a button, but you can use a shopping bag item, or a cart item, or the logo of the company. So you can use whatever image that you wanna select or choose instead of a Spott. So it's completely, that's the good thing. It's a Swiss pocket knife, so it allows you to do what you want. So you can customize interactivity up to the wazoo, pretty much.
Amazing. Yeah, it sounds, everything sounds wonderful. It sounds like we also don't have any more questions. Sumolings, if you've got anything, now is your moment. And thank you all who have been sending in your questions. I'm just stalling, just me over here stalling a little bit. All right, I'm done stalling. Sumolings, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you, Michelle, for walking us through all of that. If you have not already, you can go to appsumo.com/spot. That's with 2 T's. And you can redeem your codes. It is starting right now for just $59 for a lifetime deal. And once you get rocking and rolling, we love to hear how it's going for you. So you can go ahead and leave those comments down in the review section. If you have any more questions, you can leave those on the deal page. And of course, this is backed by AppSumo's 60-day guarantee, so you can try it out, see how it works for you. It sounds like it's gonna work great. We're getting a lot of comments. We're getting some comments in the chat. Thank you, this was awesome. We got a lot of thank yous in the Q&A box. So yeah, thank you so much for doing all this and for hanging out with us today. You have been awesome.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.